My beloved child, if these words have found you today, don't rush past them. Pause for just a moment and listen with your heart instead of your fears. There is a reason this message appeared before your eyes at this exact time. Whether you believe in divine timing, destiny, or simply meaningful coincidences, something powerful is moving beneath the surface of your life. Your soulmate is attempting to reach you right now, and the signs have been growing stronger with every passing day. Stay until the very end, because what you're about to hear may completely change the way you see your connection. For a long time, silence has stood between you and the person your heart refuses to forget. It may have felt as though every door remained closed, every conversation ended too soon, and every opportunity disappeared before it could become something beautiful. You questioned yourself. You wondered if they had forgotten you. Some nights you convinced yourself that the story was over, while other nights you secretly hoped tomorrow would finally bring the answer you had been waiting for. But what you couldn't see was that your soulmate has been carrying the same emotional weight. They have replayed your conversations more times than they could ever admit. They have remembered the smallest details that everyone else forgot. Your laughter still echoes through their thoughts. Certain songs remind them of you. Certain places instantly bring your face into their mind. Even when they tried to move forward, something inside them always pulled them back toward your energy. This isn't because they are unable to let go. It is because the connection was never truly broken. Sometimes two people become separated not because love disappears, but because life places lessons between them that both souls must learn before they can truly meet again. Distance does not always mean the end. Sometimes distance prepares two hearts for a reunion neither one could have handled before. Listen carefully, because this part matters. Your soulmate has reached a turning point. Something happened recently that forced them to stop pretending everything was fine. Perhaps they experienced disappointment. Perhaps someone they trusted revealed their true colors. Perhaps they realized that chasing temporary happiness only left them feeling emptier than before. Whatever the reason, their heart has begun searching for what feels genuine. Every path they explored eventually led them back to one thought: you. The interesting part is that they didn't expect this to happen. They believed enough time had passed for the feelings to fade. They thought memories would eventually lose their power. Instead, those memories became even clearer. The more they tried to ignore them, the louder they became. It was almost as though the universe kept placing reminders directly in front of them. Have you noticed strange signs recently? Maybe you've been thinking about them without any obvious reason. Maybe you've seen repeating numbers. Maybe you've dreamed about them several nights in a row. Perhaps their name appeared unexpectedly, or someone mentioned something connected to them. These moments are easy to dismiss, but together they form a pattern that many people overlook until much later. Your heart has been receiving signals long before your mind recognized them. Don't skip this next part. There is something your soulmate wants to say, but fear has kept the words trapped inside them. They have imagined sending the message countless times. They have started typing, only to erase every sentence before pressing send. They worried you had moved on. They feared rejection. They wondered whether reaching out would reopen old wounds instead of healing them. Meanwhile, you may have been asking the exact same questions. Isn't it strange how two hearts can be waiting for each other while both believe they are completely alone? That is often how destiny works. Pride creates silence. Fear creates distance. Time creates confusion. But truth has a remarkable way of breaking through every wall that fear builds. Your soulmate is standing closer to that breakthrough than ever before. Something inside them has changed. They are beginning to understand that protecting themselves from pain has also been protecting them from love. They have realized that waiting forever will only create more regret. Every day they delay becomes another day wondering what could have been. If you've been feeling emotional recently for no clear reason, there may be more happening beneath the surface than you realize. Sometimes our hearts respond before our circumstances do. Sometimes the soul recognizes movement long before the eyes can see it. The next chapter is not asking you to chase anyone. It is asking you to remain open. There is a difference between forcing an outcome and allowing the right moment to unfold naturally. Patience is not weakness. Patience is quiet confidence that what belongs in your life will not remain lost forever. Right now, your soulmate is wrestling with emotions they can no longer ignore. They've begun questioning old decisions. They've started looking at your connection through completely different eyes. The things that once seemed impossible now appear worth fighting for. The excuses they once believed no longer satisfy their heart. They are discovering that real love isn't measured by perfection. It is measured by honesty, growth, forgiveness, and the courage to choose someone even after life becomes complicated. That realization changes everything. That realization changes everything. Now they are standing at the edge of a decision that has the power to reshape both of your lives. Every excuse they once used has begun to lose its strength. Every fear that once convinced them to remain silent now feels smaller than the possibility of losing you forever. They have reached the point where silence hurts more than honesty. That is why the energy surrounding this connection feels different than it did before. The waiting season is slowly giving way to the season of action. There is one memory they simply cannot escape. It wasn't necessarily your last conversation or your last goodbye. It was the moment they realized how safe they felt around you. In a world filled with people pretending to be someone else, you allowed them to be completely themselves. They didn't fully appreciate that gift when they had it. Only after time created distance did they understand how rare that kind of connection truly is. Listen carefully because this message is important. Your soulmate has been comparing every new experience to the one they shared with you. Every conversation reminds them of something you once said. Every beautiful sunset brings back an old memory. Every joyful moment somehow feels incomplete because a part of them wishes you were there to witness it beside them. They never expected your presence to remain so deeply rooted in their heart, yet here they are, unable to deny what they feel any longer. Meanwhile, the universe has been arranging quiet moments that neither of you fully understands yet. Small delays that once frustrated you were actually protecting your path. Certain people left your life because they were never meant to stay. Certain opportunities disappeared because something greater needed room to arrive. Looking back one day, you may realize that what felt like rejection was actually redirection. Don't skip this next part. Someone close to your soulmate has noticed the change within them. They may not know your entire story, but they have recognized that your name carries a different emotion. They have seen your soulmate pause whenever you are mentioned. They have noticed the thoughtful silence that follows. Without saying much, your soulmate has revealed more than they realize. Their heart speaks even when their words remain hidden. For a long time they believed they still had endless time. They assumed another opportunity would always come. But recently something happened that reminded them how quickly life can change. That realization awakened a sense of urgency they had never felt before. Suddenly tomorrow no longer seemed guaranteed. Suddenly waiting felt like the greatest risk of all. That is why they have been rehearsing conversations in their mind. They imagine what they would say if you answered the phone. They picture your reaction if they finally confessed everything they have kept hidden. They wonder whether you would smile, whether you would cry, or whether you would simply listen in silence while years of unspoken emotions finally found their voice. If your heart has felt unusually restless, there may be a reason. Sometimes we sense emotional shifts before visible changes appear. Your spirit notices movement long before your circumstances catch up. What feels like uncertainty today may actually be preparation for a conversation that has been delayed far too long. The most beautiful part of this story is not that two people miss each other. It is that both hearts have been growing while apart. The lessons learned through pain have created wisdom. The disappointments have created compassion. The loneliness has created gratitude. If reunion comes, it will not be the same relationship left behind. It will have the chance to become something deeper, stronger, and far more genuine than either of you imagined before. Your soulmate is beginning to understand that love is not about winning an argument or proving who was right. Love is about choosing honesty over pride, vulnerability over fear, and commitment over temporary comfort. Those truths have become impossible for them to ignore. Stay with me until the end, because the next chapter reveals the message they have been carrying inside their heart, the words they have wanted to tell you but have never found the courage to say. The words they have been carrying inside their heart have become too heavy to hide any longer. Every morning they wake up thinking today might finally be the day they reach out. Every evening they tell themselves they waited too long. Their heart is caught between hope and hesitation, but one feeling continues to grow stronger than all the others. That feeling is the desire to tell you the truth they have kept buried for far too long. If they could sit across from you right now, they would not begin with excuses. They would not try to rewrite the past or pretend mistakes never happened. Instead, they would take a deep breath and quietly say, "There hasn't been a single season of my life where I completely stopped thinking about you." Those words have echoed inside them for so long that they almost feel spoken already. Yet they know hearing them from their own lips would change everything. Listen carefully because this part is important. There were nights when they searched for your name without ever pressing the button to contact you. They looked through old conversations, old photographs, and memories they promised themselves they would leave behind. Instead of forgetting, they remembered even more. The smallest details became impossible to erase. The sound of your laughter, the kindness in your voice, and the way you made ordinary moments feel unforgettable have stayed with them through every chapter of their journey. The universe has an unusual way of bringing hidden emotions to the surface. Just when someone believes they have everything under control, one unexpected moment changes everything. A familiar place, a meaningful song, a conversation with a stranger, or even a quiet evening alone can suddenly unlock feelings that have waited patiently beneath the surface. That is exactly what has been happening to your soulmate. Their heart is no longer allowing them to pretend they are unaffected. Don't skip this next part. Recently, they realized something that surprised even them. They were never truly searching for another person. Deep down, they were searching for the peace they only experienced when they felt understood. And when they looked honestly at their memories, they recognized that you were the one who gave them that feeling. It wasn't perfection that connected you. It was authenticity. It was the comfort of being seen without pretending to be someone else. They now understand that genuine connections are incredibly rare. Many people enter our lives for a season, but only a few leave an imprint that time cannot erase. No matter how busy life became, no matter how many distractions surrounded them, your place inside their heart remained untouched. They may not have admitted it aloud, but their soul has always known the truth. At the same time, changes have quietly been unfolding around them. Old fears are losing their grip. Situations that once seemed impossible are beginning to shift. The emotional walls they spent years building are slowly coming down, one brick at a time. This transformation didn't happen overnight. It was shaped by disappointment, growth, reflection, and the quiet lessons that only time can teach. Perhaps you have been wondering why everything has felt so uncertain lately. Why plans changed unexpectedly. Why certain people drifted away. Why your heart refused to settle. Sometimes life clears away distractions before introducing something meaningful. Empty spaces are often created so that something greater has room to enter. Your soulmate is beginning to believe that coincidence has very little to do with your story. The unexpected reminders, the recurring memories, the emotions that arrive without warning, they no longer see these as accidents. Instead, they see them as invitations to stop running from what their heart has been trying to reveal. Imagine the moment when they finally gather enough courage to reach out. Their hands may tremble. Their heartbeat may race. They may rewrite the message several times before sending it. But once that moment arrives, it will not come from impulse. It will come from weeks, months, or perhaps even years of silent reflection. Every word will carry the weight of everything they wished they had said sooner. The greatest surprise is not that they still care. The greatest surprise is how deeply they have changed. They no longer want temporary answers or uncertain connections. They have discovered that lasting love requires honesty, patience, forgiveness, and the willingness to grow together instead of apart. Those lessons have transformed the way they see both themselves and you. Stay until the end because the next chapter uncovers the unexpected event that finally pushes your soulmate to stop waiting and take the first real step toward you. A moment they will never forget, and one that could become the beginning of an entirely new chapter in your story. That first real step may arrive in a way neither of you expects. Life rarely announces its biggest turning points with loud celebrations. More often, they begin with a quiet decision made in the middle of an ordinary day. Your soulmate is standing in that exact moment now. They have reached the place where their heart refuses to stay silent any longer. Every reason they once had for holding back has slowly been replaced by one overwhelming thought: what if I lose the person I was always meant to fight for? For weeks, perhaps even months, they have been carrying a conversation inside their mind. They have imagined every possible outcome. They have pictured you smiling. They have pictured you walking away. They have imagined hearing words that would heal them, and they have prepared themselves for words that might hurt them. Yet despite every fear, one truth keeps returning. Living with uncertainty has become far more painful than risking honesty. Listen carefully, because this is where everything begins to shift. Not long ago, your soulmate experienced something that forced them to look at life through different eyes. It may have been watching someone they care about lose an opportunity. It may have been hearing a story about regret. It may have been a quiet moment alone when they suddenly realized how quickly time passes. Whatever it was, it awakened something deep within them. They understood that tomorrow is never guaranteed, and the words left unsaid often become the heaviest burdens we carry. Since that moment, your name has returned to their thoughts with greater strength than ever before. They have tried to focus on work, daily responsibilities, and ordinary routines, but every path somehow leads back to you. It feels as though their heart is gently reminding them that some connections are too meaningful to ignore forever. Don't skip this next part. There is a message they have written more than once. It begins simply. No dramatic promises. No perfect speech. Just honest words from a heart that has grown tired of pretending. They type your name. They pause. They read the message again. Then fear whispers that perhaps you no longer care, and their finger hesitates above the send button. The screen grows dark, but the feelings remain. The message disappears, yet the desire to reach you becomes even stronger. This has happened more than once. Each time they delete the words, they promise themselves they will forget you. But instead of forgetting, they remember another reason why your connection mattered. Another memory rises to the surface. Another reminder appears when they least expect it. It has become impossible for them to convince themselves that you were just another chapter. Deep inside, they know your story is unfinished. Meanwhile, your own journey has not been without purpose. Every challenge you faced has quietly been preparing your heart as well. The disappointments taught you resilience. The unanswered questions taught you patience. The lonely moments taught you how deeply you value genuine love. Although you may not always see it, growth has been taking place within you just as surely as it has within them. Sometimes two souls must become stronger separately before they can truly walk together. If they had reunited too soon, old fears might have repeated old patterns. But now, both of you have changed in ways that neither of you fully understands yet. Those changes are creating the possibility for something healthier than what existed before. Your soulmate has also begun noticing something unusual. Every time they decide to let go completely, another reminder appears. They hear your favorite song unexpectedly. They visit a place filled with memories. They meet someone who unknowingly says something that reminds them of you. These moments have become impossible to dismiss. They feel as though life itself keeps inviting them to stop running from the truth. Listen carefully. The truth is not that everything will suddenly become easy. The truth is that courage is finally becoming stronger than fear. Your soulmate is learning that love has never been about having perfect timing. It has always been about having the courage to be genuine when the moment finally arrives. Very soon, they will realize that waiting for the perfect circumstances only creates more distance. There will never be a flawless moment. There will only be one honest decision. And when that decision is made, years of silence can begin to melt away with a single heartfelt conversation. As that moment approaches, something remarkable is happening inside them. The version of themselves that was controlled by doubt is slowly fading. In its place stands someone who understands the value of truth, the importance of vulnerability, and the beauty of giving love one more chance. They no longer want to spend their future wondering what might have happened if they had simply been brave enough to reach out. Stay with me until the very end, because the next chapter reveals the powerful sign that finally convinces your soulmate there is no more time to wait, a sign so personal that it feels as though destiny itself has whispered your name directly into their heart. The powerful sign arrived when your soulmate least expected it. It wasn't during a grand celebration or a perfectly planned moment. It came quietly, almost like a whisper carried by the wind. In the middle of an ordinary day, something stopped them in their tracks. A familiar phrase. A place filled with memories. A face in the crowd that reminded them of you. For just a few seconds, time seemed to stand still, and every wall they had spent so long building around their heart began to crack. My beloved child, listen carefully because this part may be the most important message you hear today. Your soulmate could no longer dismiss what they were feeling as coincidence. Every attempt to move away from the connection somehow led them back to the same destination. Every road they traveled seemed to circle around your memory. They finally realized that they were not being haunted by the past. They were being awakened to a truth they had refused to accept. Their heart had never truly stopped choosing you. That understanding brought both peace and fear. Peace because they finally understood why nothing else had felt complete. Fear because they knew they had waited so long that they no longer knew whether you would still welcome them into your life. Questions filled their mind. Have they forgotten me? Have they found someone else? Would my message only reopen old wounds? These doubts tried to silence them once again, but this time they didn't have the same power they once had. Don't skip this next part. There is something your soulmate has never confessed to anyone. During the quietest hours of the night, when the world around them finally became still, they often imagined having one more conversation with you. Not to argue. Not to explain every mistake. Simply to hear your voice again. They imagined telling you how much they had changed, how many lessons life had taught them, and how deeply they regretted allowing fear to make decisions that love should have made instead. While those thoughts remained hidden from everyone else, they became impossible to hide from themselves. Every day the desire to reach out became stronger. Every morning they told themselves, maybe today. Every evening they wondered why courage seemed so close, yet so difficult to hold on to. Meanwhile, something unexpected has been happening around you as well. You may have noticed emotions surfacing without warning. Certain memories have returned even though you thought they were long gone. There have been moments when your intuition felt unusually strong, almost as though your heart was trying to prepare you for something just beyond the horizon. These quiet shifts are not asking you to chase the future. They are asking you to remain open to what life may soon reveal. Your soulmate has also begun seeing your connection differently. They no longer focus on the mistakes that separated you. Instead, they remember the kindness you showed when no one else understood them. They remember how accepted they felt in your presence. They remember that with you they never needed to pretend to be someone they were not. Those memories have become brighter than the painful ones, and that change has transformed the way they see your story. Listen carefully. They have started making small changes in their life that no one else has noticed. Old habits are fading. Priorities are changing. They are becoming more honest with themselves than ever before. The person who once ran from difficult conversations is slowly becoming someone willing to face them. Growth has not erased their fears, but it has given them the strength to move forward despite them. There is one sentence that keeps repeating in their heart. If I stay silent now, I may spend the rest of my life wondering what could have happened. That thought follows them everywhere. It accompanies them during quiet mornings, busy afternoons, and sleepless nights. It has become impossible to escape because deep inside they know it carries the truth they have avoided for far too long. The beautiful thing about genuine love is that it has a remarkable ability to survive seasons of silence when both hearts continue to grow. Real connections are not strengthened by perfection. They are strengthened by honesty, forgiveness, patience, and the courage to begin again after everything seems lost. Your soulmate is finally beginning to understand that love is not measured by the absence of mistakes but by the willingness to make things right. Very soon, a moment will arrive when hesitation is no longer an option. Your soulmate will realize that one sincere message has the power to change the direction of two lives. They will understand that even if the outcome is uncertain, speaking from the heart is always better than carrying endless regret. Stay with me until the very end, because the next chapter reveals the exact moment your soulmate finally presses send, and the unexpected event that happens immediately afterwards leaves both of your hearts forever changed. The moment finally arrived. After countless days of hesitation and endless nights of wondering, what if, your soulmate looked down at the message they had rewritten more times than they could remember. This time, something felt different. Their hands were still trembling, and their heart was racing, but fear no longer held the final vote. They closed their eyes for a brief moment, whispered a quiet prayer for courage, and pressed send. For a few seconds, the world felt completely silent. No matter where they were, it seemed as though time itself had slowed down. Every heartbeat carried years of hope, regret, love, and unanswered questions. They knew they couldn't change the past, but they had finally chosen honesty over silence. And in that single moment, a burden they had carried for so long began to lift. My beloved child, listen carefully. Sometimes the greatest miracle is not that everything changes overnight. Sometimes the miracle is finding the courage to take the very first step. That single step opens doors that fear kept locked for years. It allows healing to begin where pain once lived. It creates space for understanding where misunderstandings once stood. As the message traveled toward you, something beautiful happened inside both hearts. The walls built from disappointment started to crumble. The anger that had lingered quietly in forgotten corners began to fade. The weight of unanswered questions became lighter because, at last, truth had found its voice. When you saw the message, you didn't immediately know what to think. Memories rushed through your mind like scenes from a beautiful film. You remembered the laughter, the lessons, the difficult moments, and the beautiful ones. You realized that every chapter, even the painful ones, had shaped both of you into stronger, wiser people. You paused. Not because you were afraid, but because you understood that some words deserve to be answered with care. Don't skip this final message. Whether this story reflects your own life or simply reminds you of the importance of honesty, let it encourage you to choose compassion over resentment, hope over despair, and courage over fear. The future is not written by our regrets. It is shaped by the choices we make today. Your soulmate's message was never just about asking for another chance. It was about expressing gratitude for a connection that changed them forever. It was about admitting that love grows strongest when it is rooted in respect, kindness, patience, and truth. The conversation that followed was not perfect. There were honest questions. There were quiet tears. There were gentle smiles. There was forgiveness where pain had once lived. And with every word, two hearts discovered that healing is not about pretending the past never happened. Healing is about learning from it together. As the days passed, trust slowly returned, not through grand promises, but through consistent actions. Every conversation became a new brick in the foundation of something stronger than before. They laughed again. They dreamed again. They supported each other through victories and setbacks. They discovered that real love is not the absence of challenges, it is the willingness to face them side by side. The greatest surprise was that neither of them became the person they used to be. They became better, kinder, more patient, more grateful. They finally understood that the journey had never been about finding a perfect soulmate. It had been about becoming the kind of person who could truly give and receive love with an open heart. And so, this story ends not with a dramatic farewell, but with a beautiful new beginning. Two people who once stood on opposite sides of silence now walked forward with honesty. Two hearts that had carried unanswered questions now carried hope. Two souls that had feared losing each other forever discovered that the strongest connections are built one sincere moment at a time. So, if this message touched your heart today, carry this thought with you: never underestimate the power of a kind word, a brave conversation, or an honest heart. Even after long seasons of uncertainty, a single act of courage can become the first page of an entirely new chapter. The ending of one season is often the beginning of another. May your days be filled with peace. May your heart remain open to love. May wisdom guide every choice you make. And may you always have the courage to choose truth, because truth is where lasting hope begins. This is not the end. It is the beginning of a brighter tomorrow.